Broadcasting live. It's America's longest running talk show on computers. It's Computer America, bringing you the biggest names in technology with guest interviews, new products, and your emails. Listen live at computeramerica.com on any device around the world. Email the show at live@computeramerica.com or find us on social media. Be sure to check out our website for contests, giveaways, show notes, live video stream, podcasts, and more. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. We are the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers and technology. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Ben Crossman, and everyone, hey, welcome into the show. Friday, everyone, hope you're doing well, and we have a great show planned for you where the entire hour we are dedicated to computer and technology news. We got a lot of great topics to, of course, discuss, and actually quite a few rumors. So as much as we like to stoke the rumor mill, there's a lot of rumors coming out about the next generation of phones and more. So there you go, everyone. Welcome into the program. Before we get started, the first things first. If you want to check out anything that we do here at Computer America, be it reviews, be it articles, be it past shows, future shows, anything like that, you can head on over to computeramerica.com. And over at computeramerica.com, you can, of course, see all that and more. And, of course, check out the live video feed, which can also be found at twitch.tv/computeramerica. All that and more. So, okay, folks. I'm sure there will be a lot more to announce next week, but in the meantime, we're going to take it easy. It's going to be a nice, relaxing Friday, and then we're going to head into the weekend and come back bright and early Monday. But not to discount what we're going to do today, because we have a lot to talk about. So, everyone, without further ado, why don't we go ahead and get started with computer and technology news. Here we go. Now, why don't we go ahead and start with a topic that I think doesn't get a lot of spotlight, but is really crucial to the way that that computers work nowadays. And this is a fairly intricate article coming to us from The Verge, and we're going to try our best to kind of pick it apart. And it's the idea of a Captcha. And if you don't know what a Captcha is, they've been around since the early 2000s, and you may remember them in their earliest iteration being a jumble of letters and numbers. And it was simply, type in what you see, and there you go, you're done. But you may have noticed over the past couple of years, if you are the subject of any kind of scrutiny from Captchas, nowadays you are asked to identify, and trust me, I've filled out plenty of these things, please select all the cars, or all the photos that contain a car. Or please select all the photos that contain a traffic light, or a stop sign, or a bus, and so on and so forth. They are getting more and more annoying. So I thought this article would be pretty fun to, of course, discuss, and this has to do with the Captcha and what its current iteration is. So again, this is a great article from The Verge. We're going to throw it up in the show notes after the show, but in the meantime, why Captchas have gotten so difficult. You may have noticed this because, hey, yeah, it's much more difficult to go from, hey, what are these 4 letters and numbers, to really analyzing these pictures and, figure out what they are. So the article starts off by, obviously, at some point last year, Google's constant requests to prove that he's a human began to feel increasingly aggressive because, hey, there should be a lot of ways to tell if someone is a person or a robot. But we're seeing that it's harder and harder to do that thanks to machine learning. There's that buzzword. They said, and of course he says that he says more and more the simple, slightly too cute button saying, "I'm not a robot," was followed by demands to prove it. And these include, as I just mentioned, traffic lights, crosswalks, storefronts, image grids, cars, buses, signs, streetlights. It can be any number of things. And often, I've gotten it wrong myself. It's not difficult to miss one of the squares. So they said that these steps are called Captchas. We mentioned it. And of course, Google bought the program from Carnegie Mellon. Fun fact, Carnegie Mellon researchers, and they were using it to digitize Google Books. And this is also another, kind of fun fact about Google. They are the largest repository of books in the world. They have digitized just about every book in existence that they can get their hands on. And when you think about public libraries and just the sheer amount of books that they have access to, Google has definitely put a lot of effort into scanning these books. Now, of course, due to copyrights and sales and that kind of thing, they aren't allowed to distribute them, but they do have them on record. And you can see where the technology, after scanning the some human knowledge in books, the text-to-speech or even just the text-to-text, or I should rather say the OCR, the optical character recognition, has gotten very, very good. This means a lot for a lot of their other projects. One of the other projects that I'm sure people out there have used before is text to speech, or the ability to put in a phrase and translate it to another language or say it out loud. They're all connected. They're definitely all connected because they scan books in other languages, and they're working on it. They're working on active translation and text to speech. And here's the problem with that. Over the past year or two or three, people who created these spam bots to make fake accounts, to flood forums with fake comments and things like that, they have been using Google's own algorithm against them. They would take a picture of the Captcha. They would then put it through Google, and Google would then do OCR, optical character recognition. It would write down, and then it would do text to speech, and it would say it out loud. And then the program, or I guess the people making these bots, they would have another window open or another application open that would then have speech to text, and then they would take that speech to text that they then pulled from Google and punch it back into the Captcha request. So you can see how just using 3 free-to-use tools, and a lot of people have different ones, and they can definitely spread out the workload so that they get a good mixture of kind of accuracy. They're able to defeat the rather uneventful normal Captchas. So letters and numbers just won't work anymore. Now you have to do these signs. So they said that Google then moved on to no Captcha reCAPTCHA, which observes user data and behavior to let some humans pass through the click of the "I'm not a robot" button and presents others with the image labeling we see today. But the machines are once again catching up, saying that all those awnings that may not be storefronts, well, they're the endgame in humanity's arms race with machines. Well said. They said a computer science professor at the University of Illinois at Chicago takes personal credit for the recent increase in Captcha difficulty. Thank you, Jason Polakis. There you go. In 2016, he published a paper in which he used off-the-shelf image recognition tools, including Google's own reverse image search, to solve Google's image Captchas with a 70% accuracy. And remember that number, 70%. That's very impressive, especially when you consider humans, because humans are far worse at identifying something, either through sheer laziness or, I don't know, whatever it may be. they just don't do very well in these tests compared to robots. So they said that the literature on Captcha is littered with false starts and strange attempts to find something other than text or image recognition that humans are universally good at and machines struggle with. Let's see. So let's go ahead and scroll through the article a bit, jump down, and really get to the problem. Well, actually, we should probably mention the quote from the scientist saying that we're at a point where making it harder for software ends up making it too hard for many people. We need some alternative, but there's not a concrete plan yet. That's right. As superior as humans think that they are to robots, we are at the point where if you make it hard enough that robots can't do it, you also make it hard enough that most humans can't do it. And I'm sure that says something about our society, but I digress. Now, they said that, let's see. So moving on here, Google's own Captcha team is thinking along the similar lines as what they said early in the article. The latest version of reCAPTCHA v3, announced late last year, uses adaptive risk analysis to score traffic according to how suspicious it seems. Website owners can then choose to present sketchy users with a challenge like a password request or two-factor authentication. Google wouldn't say what factors go into that score, other than that Google observes what a bunch of good traffic on a site looks like, and that's according to a product manager for the Captcha team, and then of course uses that to detect bad traffic. So here's the thing. I've seen this approach with other companies and trying to defeat automated processes. They really never tell what their secret sauce is, and they constantly make alterations in terms of weight. So maybe a website will score more heavily if you're a human, if you are, maybe you miss the first click or your mouse goes all over the screen. Maybe they weigh that more heavily as you're a human as opposed to an automated process. Maybe you hit backspace a couple times because you accidentally typed the wrong number. That proves you're human. Any number of little things that humans can do end up being good indicators that you are not a scripted program. And if there were ever a time when that formula were released, they could say that, we highly weight mouse movements when it comes to identifying good traffic versus bad traffic, then, hey, the automated processes would just move the mouse around randomly. They can definitely do that, and they would make it, and they would play to the strengths of the detection system, or I guess play to the weaknesses of the detection system. So that's why they don't want to announce what exactly it is that they're doing. But suffice to say, if you are looking too robotic, if you're too good at what you do, then hey, you could be experiencing more and more, reCAPTCHAs or CAPTCHAs. Now, let's see. So the article wraps up saying that, so this is from Google's Captcha team, an engineering lead for the team, saying that, quote, as people put more and more investment into machine learning, those sorts of challenges will have to get harder and harder for humans. And that's particularly, there we go, why we launched Captcha v3 to get ahead of that curve. Although, of course, getting ahead of the curve, it's super hard to do. And yeah, there's big money in getting around CAPTCHAs. You can definitely be sure of that. So they're going to try it. We're going to see what happens. And the last part here, Captcha tests may persist in this world too. Amazon received a patent in 2017 for a scheme involving optical illusions and logic puzzles humans have great difficulty in deciphering. And called Turing tests via failure, the only way to pass is to get the answer wrong. And that, again, is from Amazon, which is actually pretty cool. Logic puzzles and optical illusions where I guess if you were a machine, you would, of course, have the right answer right away. But if you were a human, then you should obviously be tricked into getting the wrong answer. Pretty interesting. Like a lot of things in the tech world when it comes to security, it's an arms race, and it's a race to see who can come up with the most unique tools first. But as always, the defenders are always on the defensive, and yeah, it's a hard way to go about your day. So there you go. And again, that was an article from The Verge. We're going to put that in the show notes, computeramerica.com. Definitely check it out. There's a lot more words in there you should probably read, but I think we're done. I think we're done with that particular topic. And again, that was just why Captchas have gotten so difficult. There you go. Okay, now our next story. Let's go ahead and talk about shoes. And I know there are lots of different kinds of shoes out there. Personally, no favorite. I take it back. I have a pair of Uggs that I really do enjoy. They're slip-ons, they're lazy shoes, and I definitely enjoy those. But Uggs are not going to get you through all forms of activity. And especially for a particular form of activity, and that is, well, exercise and tracking your health. And it's this whole movement of health-connected devices that, that we really are starting to see a huge resurgence of. Now, these shoes, and of course, Mom Chipmunk in the chat room saying that now you have my attention. Probably not, because this isn't the kind of shoes that I think a lot of women or men are going to be very happy about, but they're going to see it's coming with some benefits, and that's why they're hoping it catches on. And this is Alphabet. So Alphabet, if you're unfamiliar, they are the parent company of Google. Google used to be Google. They split up their services into Alphabet to better make kind of a corporate umbrella structure. And Alphabet is the overarching company, and each of these subsidiaries, including Google, are their own little arms. Well, Alphabet, so essentially Google, has a company called Verily, Verily, if you want to check it out. And yeah, here we go. It says that Verily has been working on health tracking shoes to measure movement, weight, and falls. That's right. And so this is coming to us from CNBC. Pretty interesting though, saying that Alphabet's life sciences arm, Verily, has been looking for partners. Yes, they will make you paranoid. Verily has been looking for partners to co-develop shoes with sensors. There's the big thing. Sensors, they're very cheap, they're very accurate, and they can be embedded into just about anything to monitor the wearer's movement and weight, as well as to measure falls. So you can already see where this is going. So count them, all three. People familiar with the project say that Google's sister company has in recent months shown a prototype of the design in private meetings, hoping to attract partners to build shoes and take them to market, saying that it is not known whether the project is still active. But if Verily progresses with the project, and the shoes could have a wide range of health-related uses, where, for instance, sudden weight gain can be a sign that the body is retaining fluid, which is a symptom of congestive heart failure, and another area of interest is fall detection. And of course, two of the people said, which could be useful for seniors. Of course, there are a lot of systems in place, like, life alert buttons and things like that if someone falls over, but hey, what if your shoes would automatically detect that? And, maybe mix that with the sensors in, let's say, a smartphone or one of these other smart devices. It would just be another data point to say that accurately, yes, this person just took a header down the stairs. Definitely. They said that, yeah, exactly. And of course, I just read that. So they said that another area of interest is fall detection. Where I read that, Apple recently introduced fall detection into its latest Apple Watch, which also provides a way for users to reach emergency services in the event of a more serious tumble. So obviously, a lot of these smart devices, this is more of a matter of the devices are getting the sensors either way. This isn't something that they're, there shouldn't be anyone out there saying, wow, I wish they wouldn't include this feature and make them $50 cheaper. No, these sensors are like less than $1 a piece. And the fact that they are able to do this with software and these sensors that are very affordable, this is just something that is like, hey, we can do it. Why wouldn't we do it? So there you go. Verily has previously known as Google Life Sciences, but in 2015 became a separate company under, of course, Umbrella. The company has recruited dozens of engineers, scientists, health experts to its ranks, and many of its technical leads originally worked at Google. And thus far, Verily has found success in teaming up with larger companies, where you can see that obviously Google, or I should rather say Alphabet, has no real interest in making shoes. You are not going to see Google branded shoes or Alphabet branded shoes anytime soon, or even Verily branded shoes. They want to be the technology peddler behind, let's say Nike decides to come out with a smart shoe, and they say, hey, for athletes, this is going to be great. Or what if they come out with, no offense to anyone out there, what if they say, hey, New Balance is going to come out with a new shoe partnered with Verily, and it's going to be for seniors who, are at risk for falling. And there you go. The Google and Verily want to be the technology behind the shoe, and I think it's pretty cool that a shoe is going to be able to detect falls, of course, but also movement. So I know that a lot of fitness tracking out there, maybe if you wanted to track more accurately how far you've run, how many steps you've taken, this could definitely help with that. And then on top of that, if you wanted to weigh yourself at any point in the day. All you had to do was stand still, stand up straight, plant both feet shoulder width apart, and hit a button, wait 5 seconds, and bam, you'd have your weight. Seems a little excessive, but hey, what do I know? This is definitely something in the works. And if we're doing this today, then 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, imagine what's going to be implanted in everyday articles of clothing, from shoes to clothes to shirts, sweaters. The smart clothes are coming, and it's not just for athletes. They're going to be for everyone. So there you go. Okay, there's that story, and just kind of a rumor mill. Obviously, there were patents, and it was closed door meetings, and 3 secrets, 3 anonymous sources. So this is something that they're working on. May not see it quite yet, but what I would go ahead and move over to. All right, so we have a couple stories here, and I'm trying to decide between 2. Let's take this one. Snopes. You've heard of them? They're the website that if you ever want to figure out, can alligators, there we go. All right, so can alligators or crocodiles live in sewers? Can snakes, do snakes live in the Everglades? Or did that guy really fall down fall out of an 18-story window and survive? Snopes is well known as a fact-checking, or just kind of a, is this true kind of information. Now, here's the thing. Snopes, if you didn't know this, back in 2016 had a partnership with Facebook. The one that is largely considered the problem with fake news and fake information, false information falling into millions of people's laps. And Snopes was supposed to be, kind of the answer to that, because they're very good at fact checking. And if you can be sure, if Snopes says it's fake, then it's probably fake or false. Now, they made this announcement today, should probably mention it, that back in 2016, and you can read the full press release that they have here on the Snopes website, but I'll just give you the gist of it. Back in 2016, they partnered with Facebook in their effort to combat fake news that was circulating, everywhere. And of course, in flowery speech, they said that they did a good job. Over the years, so since 2016, 2017, 2018, every year when it came time to renew, eventually they were, kind of offered compensation. And for a company like Snopes, which is mainly a website that employs a lot of people to fact check, relies mainly on ad revenue and traffic and things like that. The money that can come from Facebook to Snopes can allow them to do a lot of things. And so I believe they said in 2017, 2018, they actually received compensation for their effort because, hey, if you spend hundreds or thousands of man hours fact-checking information, those people deserve to be paid. They're doing honest work. Why not pay them a wage? And Snopes saw this as a way. Well, now it's time, as they said, to break the partnership. They will not be renewing their contract this year starting today, and Snopes will no longer be fact-checking Facebook information. They said that obviously they have not ruled out working with Facebook or other platforms in the future, but as for this moment, they had to kind of sit down and say, the money's nice, but is it something that we can feasibly continue to do, and are we making any kind of positive impact for our readers? And hey, I guess the economics of it all, or I don't think there's any kind of moral high ground going on here, but yeah, I guess the economics of it all said that Snopes is no longer fact-checking articles, ads, or anything on Facebook. Now, and you can see kind of their timeline here. They have a financial disclosure so that they show who they take money from. And they said that as they enter the 2020 election cycle, obviously going on here in the United States, then they are going to be full bore on fact checking everything that happens during the election, which means that they are essentially moving resources from Facebook and random Facebook posts to the election. So yeah, that's I think it's a pretty big hit for Facebook. Facebook has been trying to do a lot, I think not enough with fact checking, but to lose Snopes, I think Snopes is just about as respected as you can get in the fact checking arena. So there you go. Just found that interesting, and let's see, we have time to I think introduce or get into just one more article, and let's go ahead and talk about. Okay, how about a rumor? And this is kind of a rumor where this will affect people who are hoping to purchase one of those new fangled foldable phones. It's not going to be pretty, let's put it that way. And if you thought something like a red phone or one of these other phones were super expensive, or even like an Apple, Apple 10s or Apple whatever it may be, like their latest biggest phone was like $1,400 with all the bells and whistles and the bigger hard drive. $1,400, and you can already see the writing on the wall with the slowdown in sales. Even Samsung is experiencing slowdown in sales of their top of the line premium phones. Those things are coming out, I think, at about $1,200. The Galaxy S9 and the S9 Plus. Yeah, we're seeing a slowdown at $1,200, $1,400. So now we are getting word from from insiders in Samsung saying that the foldable phone that I think everyone is hoping comes out this year, well, if it does, and at its current cost, could be about double, or as the article points out, about $2,000 for a foldable phone. And don't get me wrong, a foldable phone would be cool, but I think I speak for everyone when I say it's not that cool. It's not going to be $2,000. You can buy such a nice home computer. You could buy the best fridge if instead of this stupid phone that folds. And that's why that's why Samsung, and of course with their Galaxy line, they're very hesitant to really bring this thing to market, at least this year, because obviously as they work on it and they continue working on manufacturing and research improvements, maybe they can get that price down. But you can see why they wouldn't want to bring to market something so expensive that odds are not a lot of people are going to be able to afford, let alone want to buy. So this is an article from phonearena.com, and foldable Galaxy F, that's what they're calling it, the Galaxy F, I guess F for foldable, may cost twice the price of a premium phone to be unveiled with the S10. Saying that if you're wondering how much the foldable Galaxy F will cost and when will it be released, Korean media today fills those knowledge gaps in. First off, Samsung is so confident that the Galaxy F and the Galaxy S10, and by the way, the Galaxy F is just a kind of a placeholder. We really don't know what it's going to be called. Although they do have an event, February 20th, mark your calendars, in about 3 weeks, that should debut. If they're going to do this, the price of this, and what they're going to do. But I really doubt that they're going to do much more than just kind of a proof of concept and really not bring anything to market. Anywho, they say the Galaxy S10 are unique enough in their own right in that they will unveil both handsets simultaneously at the February 20th Unpacked event. So a senior Samsung official has commented that the folder phone will be released at twice the price of a premium phone, so a strong user case is needed. I would certainly hope so. Because really you could buy, you know what, music in the background means we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. More Computer America after this. We're going to finish up this story about the foldable phones. And I think in the meantime, when we come back, we have other stories, including an Apple patent that they filed, maybe all glass laptops, and Apple's FaceTime bug has been fixed, and so much more. Everyone, stay tuned. More Computer America right after this.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-215-4461. 800-215-4461. 800-215-4461. That's 800-215-4461.
We are all Brother Wolf. 10 years ago, a group of locals banded together to create positive change. We took animals into our homes, held adoption events at local retailers, and talked to the community about our mission to help build a no-kill Asheville. A decade later, we have achieved so many victories for animals in need. There's been so much progress, yet there's still so much to do. As part of our year-long celebration, we encourage you to become a member of our special Compassionate Circle program. With a monthly donation of $10 or more, you will have behind-the-scenes access to the work we are doing at Brother Wolf. Our goal is to reach 1,000 members because we receive no government funding. Working together, we can help build and sustain no-kill communities. Learn more at compassionatecircle.bwar.org. We are a 501c3 tax-deductible organization.
And welcome back to the Computer America Show. It is 32 minutes past the hour. If you miss any part of our show so far, feel free to check us out wherever podcasts are heard. All you have to do is search Computer America, all one word, and we should pop right up. And it should be the latest shows. If for some reason we're not there on your favorite, you can of course send us a message live at computeramerica.com, and we can work on getting our show there. It's really no hassle. We think we got most of the big ones, a lot of the medium ones, and some of the small ones. But we're happy to kind of put Computer America where you can listen to it. Now, of course, also check out the show notes, computeramerica.com, blah, blah, blah. Okay, everyone, we're back. We're doing computer technology news. Did it in the first half hour. I'm going to finish it out, have a nice, relaxing Friday, and head into the weekend nice and informed so we can come back to a lot of great guests next week. Now, we were just talking about the foldable phone from Galaxy and whatever it is that they're going to call it, and if they're going to unveil it on February 20th, Unpacked. They said that they will, and here we go. The problem is, and I think this is really going to be a problem, if they try to unveil it at the same time as their Galaxy S10 and have kind of a sister phone that will be foldable, and it will cost $500, $600, $700 more than the other phone. That is a problem because we already see that pullback. There's already a pullback that phones are too expensive, and the cost is not justifying the increase in price. Now, Continuing on with the article, a senior Samsung official commented that the folder phone will be released at twice the price of a premium phone, so a strong user case is needed. That, for Samsung, seems to be a unique form factor that brings abilities like running 3 different apps at once or unfurling in a tablet-sized media consumption machine when you need it for watching videos or browsing. Here's the problem with that. If it folds up to the size of a smartphone, great, whatever, people are used to that. If it unfolds into the size of a small tablet, perfect, whatever, sure. There's already standards out there that will get the information to work like that. Here's the thing. If the only use case is that it's a tablet and a smartphone in one, but for twice the price of a smartphone, which is already much more expensive than a tablet, and this is going to be a small tablet, not even a large tablet, but a small tablet, why would anyone want to spend $2,000 on a smartphone as opposed to $1,000 on a smartphone, which is already ridiculous and getting you one of the best phones on the market, and then take, I don't know, $300-$400 and buy another tablet that's going to be a dedicated machine, do its own thing, and save you $500-$700. That cannot be the only use case that they have. There has to be something, and the price has to come down. Now, in addition, the Korean publication speculates another added value of the Galaxy S10 that Samsung bets will be superior to competitors, and this is the eventual in-display fingerprint scanner. Samsung put off employing such a biometric component because optical and first-generation ultrasonic in-display readers were slow and cumbersome to use. There you go. So the point is, there is cool technology. There is improvement in the world of smartphones and tablets. We're finally getting bendable displays. We're finally getting rid of the home button. These are things that have been troubling the smartphone market for years. That's cool. It's just now a matter of what can people's wallets actually sustain. And I'm not sure that the first generation of these devices is going to be the time to jump into these huge price increases. So there you have it. We'll definitely know more February 20th. Maybe we'll cover that one live as it happens. That'd be very cool to see. But in the meantime, everyone, and if we do cover that live, actually, that's pretty interesting. We should probably do that with future events. If any of these events actually happen live, we should probably kind of host them on twitch.tv/Computer America. And then we'll just kind of talk through it as it happens and, kind of be the obnoxious audience member that we would love to be. So, hey, ideas just throwing out there. We'll see what happens. Now, there's that story. Very, very interesting. And we'll keep that aside. Now, how about we talk about Amazon for a second? Because it wouldn't be a show without some Amazon news. A couple of months ago, you may have remembered that Amazon did something that a lot of people praised. And that is they raised minimum wages, and not just for their own employees, but any contractors that they employ or seasonal workers that they employ in their fulfillment centers. Everyone in the company, everyone down to the janitor, everyone to the package people, whatever. Everyone got raised to the new minimum of $15 an hour, which is great. And by the way, that also applied to all Whole Foods, so people who stock, cashiers, things like that. Finally, hey, some upward mobility for wages. Perfect, that's great. But I think what people really underestimated, and maybe even Amazon themselves underestimated, was the reaction from people who were, oddly enough, not making $15 an hour. And they said that as part of its fourth quarter earnings Thursday, Amazon said 850,000 people applied for hourly positions at the company in the U.S. in October, following the minimum wage announcements, saying that doubles the previous record for most applications received in a month, the company says. So that's right. Yeah, 850,000 people said, you know what, where I'm working right now, $15 an hour sounds way better. Now, the wage increase came after months of criticism and damning media reports that described harsh working conditions in Amazon warehouses. We've definitely talked about that. And of course, Senator Bernie Sanders, who is a senator who has been lambasting Amazon for working conditions for weeks, praised the move and encouraged other companies to follow suit. Obviously, if you are asking a lot of your employees, even though, yes, you could probably still get away with paying federal minimum wage, if you pay people a decent living, then they will, they'll be happier, more efficient employees. Or at least that's the theory. And it seems to be that way, especially with a company as large as Amazon that employs already so many people. Amazon says its wage increases benefited more than 250,000 employees in the US and 17,000 workers in the UK and 200,000 people who were hired for seasonal work over the holidays. So you can obviously see there, and credit to Amazon for one more part. They announced this wage increase in October. They could have held on to this, Amazon staying afloat for 4 months. I think they could have done it. If they had just waited till after the holidays, they could have saved themselves a lot of money by saying, hey, seasonal work is done. Now that all the seasonal workers are gone, we're raising everyone's minimum wage to $15 an hour. No, they did it before the holidays. There you go. Very, very cool. And Amazon Workforce is unique among tech giants. It employs plenty of well-paid techies, but it also employs thousands of hourly workers at its many distribution centers and physical retail stores, saying that at the end of the fourth quarter, Amazon employed about 647,500 employees worldwide, and that has increased by about 14%. Yeah, Amazon, if they wanted to, could have just doubled their workforce overnight. And for a company as large as Amazon, man, just a simple move to $15 an hour. There you go. So kudos where kudos are due. Have at it. Now, okay, so I think our next story, it'll be a quick announcement, and we're going to see exactly how they fixed it. But a couple of days ago, we had Scott Schober. See, I remember the name this time. We had Scott Schober, our cybersecurity expert, on the show here, and we really talked about the Apple iPhone and the weaknesses with FaceTime, where if you didn't hear about what happened, okay, here's how it works. You call someone on FaceTime, random contact that you have, you call them, and then while it's ringing and while it doesn't pick up, you open up the contact so that you can have a third person join your FaceTime call. This is a feature that they've pushed. You can have up to 32 people. Well, anyways, you have two people, you and your target. Then you add yourself from your contacts as a third member of the party. And for some reason, that would force the second person, so the person that you're targeting, that would force their phone to automatically join the call, which then would lead them to activate their camera, activate their microphone as if they were talking on a FaceTime call, but one that they never accepted. You can see the problem here, where if someone doesn't want to pick up and they do this technique, then they can start to see what's happening. They can listen in on conversations. If they aren't paying attention, then yeah, this could be a huge security flaw. Apple reacted pretty swiftly. They took down the FaceTime servers. They have been working on it. And as of today, we're happy to announce that Apple has officially fixed the problem. Yay. That's good. Wait. I did not give that enough fanfare. Apple has fixed the problem. Yes. This is good. Good job, Apple. We expected it of you. Okay, so they have it all worked out. Okay, shut up. So they have it all worked out. They have it all fixed. And let's go ahead and see what happens. So the new update will allow owners of iPhones, iPads, and Mac computers to re-enable group FaceTime, the feature that had allowed the potential eavesdropping. And Apple's response came 4 days after the flaw was widely reported, in nearly 2 weeks since a concerned customer alerted the company. So I said, obviously, maybe erroneously. I said that Apple reacted swiftly. Yeah, you definitely want to react faster than 2 weeks, but I digress. This week, before fixing the bug, the company raced to disable group FaceTime, which allowed people to video chat with several people. So a 14-year-old Arizona boy discovered that he could listen to a friend via group FaceTime on January 19th, even if the friend didn't answer the call, saying that his mother repeatedly tried to flag the issue to Apple, but the company was slow to respond. Here we go. So you can, and of course the article gives you a way to update your phones and tablets and smartphones, but I think most people out there know how to update their iPhone or iPad or their Mac, but if you don't know, good luck. After the vulnerability became public, security researchers and politicians raised concerns about the security of Apple's products. To preempt security attacks, in 2016, Apple started a hacker bug bounty program, but some hackers have said that the program has a slow start because they can make more money selling the flaws on the black market. Apple is a very valued company where a lot of powerful people think that, for instance, let's say Donald Trump, the president of the United States, has an iPhone. Imagine if you could, with this same flaw that is probably enabled on the president's own personal smartphone, you could just as simply, if you know his number, or at least the number to his direct line, you could rope him into a FaceTime call when he's not paying attention and, eavesdrop on the president of the United States. You can see where $200,000 is a little scant for how destructive one of these zero-day vulnerabilities could be. But there we go. And there you go. Let's see. So the incident was embarrassing for the company. Hours before Apple publicly acknowledged the bug, which is branded the facepalm by security researchers. There you go. On Monday, Timothy D. Cook, the company's chief executive, so Tim Cook, tweeted that we all must insist on action and reform for vital privacy protections, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, the point is, update your phone. It's fixed. So if you're worried about that, there you go. Pretty interesting stuff, though. Definitely not the first time Apple has been slow to react, but very interesting. So how about we go from Apple to Apple and, well, compare Apple to Apple. This is an article from Inverse. It's another rumor, but I think it's it can be cool if they can pull it off, if they can make it work kind of like an iPhone that you expect. Let's see. So let's go ahead and put that on. There you go. And Apple. The thing about Apple design, whenever they come out with a new generation, and especially with Johnny Ive, the main designer behind Apple, whenever Johnny Ive looks at how they can improve or change, or I guess, kind of iterate upon what Apple's already done, it always seems like he says, okay, what can we get rid of? Because if you've seen the iPhone that he, that he manufactured, or, that he designed, or any of the Macs or iPads or anything like that, he always takes something away, but then gives you something really cool to replace it. Well, looks like the next thing that they might take away from an Apple is the laptop. The thing that they might change about an Apple laptop is going to be the keyboard. They might take away the keyboard from a laptop. And Apple may be about to ditch the traditional keyboard, as the article from Inverse reads, for something more versatile. A patent application published Thursday. So this is simply a patent. This is not any kind of solid rumor. A lot of companies have patents that they file just for, hey, this is something our researchers are working on. If we ever decide to bring this to market, then, hey, we need to have the patent for it. They said that... So one of the patents is a glass keyboard and a second screen. And they said that a move that could enable Apple to offer a dynamically changing set of keys without sacrificing the feedback of a traditional layout. And if you start to think, well, how do we know that a glass keyboard would be effective? Anyone out there with a smartphone already would be more than comfortable typing on a glass keyboard. Especially with their haptic feedback, it's really impressive what a solid glass touch can feel like. So the application, which is filed with the, of course, Patent and Trademark Office, is the latest patent that could chart a new course for the MacBook. And while the iPhone and iPad have readily embraced touchscreens, the Mac line has held off and focused on giant multi-touch trackpads coupled with a regular keyboard that allowed users to focus on the screen. So obviously, when you start to change, certain aspects of a laptop, it's you're going to get some pushback. I mean, when Apple did something as simple as take away the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, people lost their minds. People lost their minds that iPhones were no longer going to support their headphones. Well, imagine that, but to the nth degree, because of course Apple's looking to now take away people's keyboards. So here's the patent. If you're watching the video portion, you can kind of see it here. And it's pretty simple. It's a laptop, and instead of a keyboard, it would have of course, all the keys and display of a keyboard. But then if you would like, you could, completely do away with the keyboard because it's just a simple display and you could play anything that you would want. And let's see. So they said it's not the first time Apple has patented such an idea. In February 2018, the USPTO published 2 patents that would replace the keyboard with a giant touchscreen. And the following month, it filed a design for a detachable laptop screen similar to a Microsoft Surface Book 2. During the same time period, Apple also designed a touchscreen that would use a combination of pressure sensors and haptic feedback to make it feel more like a keyboard. And a patent does not necessarily mean the idea will come to market, but Apple seems to have a clear interest in exploring the idea. Like I said, this is something that they're working on, and think of it as something that you would eventually maybe possibly do. They are more than willing to pay the money to patent it in case they ever decide to do something like this. So there you go, a little bit of a rumor. Maybe the next MacBook, or maybe a generation or two in the future, or MacBook Air, will be this kind of huge double screen. Or hey, here's this. Obviously, Samsung is the one working on the foldable tech display. If Apple maybe licenses the idea or develops something on their own, what if you have a laptop that can fold up like a laptop or fold out, kind of like a large monitor? And yeah, it'd be one continuous display if it was laying flat, or a laptop if it was folded up. And yeah, you could quickly go from a monitor to a huge tablet to a dual screen laptop. There's a lot of possibilities there. And I think, looking at the patent, it doesn't have all that included, but you can see that we have the technology today to make something like that possible in the near future. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. So again, more of a rumor, but hey, on a Friday, it's refreshing to hear something that isn't just doom and gloom. So there you have it. Okay, there's that story. We have like 2 or 3 more. We're not going to be able to get to them all. Let's talk about YouTube real fast. YouTube, if you didn't know, they have a dislike button. And luckily, I think Computer America users are very familiar with the dislike button. But that's another topic. YouTube, they don't like it as much as I guess the people do. Because this article came out, this one from The Verge, and YouTube wants to, stop dislike mobs. And this can happen when things kind of go viral. If you want to take the most recent example, you can look at YouTube Rewind 2018. And a lot of content creators were very upset about their choices for the inclusion of, Rewind 2018. That, for anyone who does not know what YouTube Rewind 2018 is, that's YouTube's annual video showing off the best and the greatest content creators, events, notable history in that year that happened on the website. Anywho, a lot of people kind of claimed that YouTube didn't do it well. And whether or not you agree, doesn't matter. The dislike button was well used on that particular video. It became the #1 most disliked video on the platform in about a month. It had tens of millions, I think. Let's see, do they say it here in the article? I'm sure that they do eventually. But at any rate, 10 million people at least went to this this YouTube video. Actually, we have it right here. And let's see, we're going to hit pause so it doesn't play because it has Will Smith in it and we can't afford Will Smith. Here we go. So it has 2.5 million likes and 15 million dislikes. Obviously, when you have that kind of ratio, that's a bad thing. But it also goes to show that, disliking the video itself became its own trend because it became the most disliked video out there. There you go. And now YouTube is looking for ways to kind of combat that. So they said that dislike mobs are the YouTube equivalent of review bombing on Steam. A group of people who are upset with a certain creator or game decide to execute an organized attack and downvote or negatively review a game or video into oblivion. Because obviously, if you go on, let's say Steam, you look up a game and the game says it's overwhelmingly disliked or negative, then odds are you're not going to spend the money to buy the game that is so poorly reviewed. Now, reports have suggested that a video with a high number of dislikes is less likely to be recommended and could therefore hurt the creator's channel. Now, the company is planning to experiment with new ways to make it more difficult to organize attacks to be executed. And this is obviously one of the people who work for YouTube. And this is Tom Leung. He is a director of project management at YouTube. And he says that the company is planning to experiment with new ways to make it more difficult. He states that in the video above, that, and we'll include this article in the show notes, that they may hold off until a better idea comes along. Right now, the current option is for creators to go into their preferences and indicate that they don't want ratings, likes, or dislike numbers to be visible. The issue is that the videos with an overwhelmingly positive response also won't be seen. Yep, you can see the problem. You lose the good when you throw out the bad, obviously. Leung and his team are aware of how important those public stats are to creators as well. Another option is to require more granularity when someone dislikes. If you're going to downvote, maybe you have to click a checkbox as to why you don't like this video. I don't think that's a really good way to go about it either, because people would just choose the most vitriolic or unrelated topic that they could. That wouldn't really stop people. They said that their last option describes as the most extreme, and that's to remove dislikes entirely, saying it's not as democratic. Not all dislikes are from dislike mobs, which is fair. Some videos are genuinely made to be disliked. So we saw what happened when Facebook did away with the dislike button. They only have like angry, sad. They have different reactions, and they only have a like button. And I think people were upset about it initially, but it definitely reduced the amount of conversation to be had on Facebook. When you did away with the dislike button, people just weren't engaging as much with Facebook posts. So maybe the same thing would happen. YouTube creators who watch the video suggest that people who want to dislike a video have to sit through a portion of it before options become available. Just don't count likes or dislikes until someone has watched about 25% of the video. It will increase watch time if people want to vote and make people make a decision based on the actual video and not just the title or the subject matter, which I think is a pretty good idea. Obviously, a lot of a dislike mob is, hey, everyone go to this channel, watch this, or go to this video and hit the dislike button takes 2 seconds. If they have to sit there for even 2-3 minutes, hey, that could severely reduce the amount of people who have that short attention span to actually do that. We'll go ahead and just, kind of call that story there. But YouTube looking to find ways to not have all those dislikes on the channel. So everyone, the music means that we're just about done here. We have a couple more stories. One that we didn't get to includes the Airbus data takes flight. Billions of credentials for Airbus employees and passengers have been dumped onto the dark web. Be careful out there. And a lot of tech giants, along with 22 state attorney generals, are fighting to save net neutrality. Didn't get to that either. But there you go. A lot of articles. And thank you so much for, joining us here on the show today and listening and, of course, participating. Everyone out there, have a great weekend. Thank you so much for being here. And until next time, have a great weekend. Have a great day. Catch you next Monday, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern. ComputerAmerica.com one more time. Until then, everyone, bye-bye.